Before we get started, we have a short message from our friends at Airwave Media.
Hey there, I'm Tyler, the host of Wake Me Up, the only guided morning routine podcast. No matter how you'd like to start your day, Wake Me Up has something for everyone. Whether you'd like a calming meditation, some easy yoga and stretching to wake your body, or an inspirational talk to get you motivated for the day, you can find all of it on Wake Me Up. So trade the snooze button for an episode of Wake Me Up and see how your days change. Just search Wake Me Up in your favorite podcast player.
At a time when change is constant and we are pulled in far too many directions, we need a way to stay present to life and to increase our ability to remain calm, think clearly, and maintain our well-being. Many studies indicate mindfulness improves our mental, emotional, and physical health. On a Mindful Moment with Teresa McKee, you can learn how to practice mindfulness and enjoy its many benefits. Tune in for guided meditations and to hear tips and advice from some of the most respected experts in the fields of mental health and mindfulness. The world truly can be a better place. It all starts with a mindful moment.
Hello, I'm Sheryl, and this is Sleep Tight Relax, a calming bedtime podcast for the young and young at heart. Our sleep story is the final chapter of Flop-Ear. In this episode, Flop-Ear meets Mappo the Monkey, and they decide to live together for a while. They build a house, and then one day, Flop-Ear says he'd like to try and find his home again. So they set off into the woods to look for his family. But before we continue with our story, let's turn down the lights. Get cozy in your bed, close your eyes, and feel warm and secure. Now that we have done that, let's use our imagination a little bit. Let's imagine that you are blowing up a balloon every time you exhale. You make this balloon as big as you'd like and give it whatever color you want. It could be rainbow colored or have animal prints all over it. I would like you to take a great big breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth, blowing up your imaginary balloon. This is no ordinary balloon. It's a balloon you can ride in. Once you get it as big as you want, it detaches from your mouth and it drifts slowly up into the sky, taking you with it. There is a strong breeze right now, and your balloon drifts over the trees. You can see your home, the street you live on. Slowly but surely, your balloon takes off, and you can land it anywhere you like. Land it in your favorite place. This could be your bedroom or the couch at a friend's house. Or maybe it's a place to buy ice cream. Let's stay here for a few moments, and then when you are ready, take a few more deep breaths, each time exhaling into the balloon, and it slowly takes you again for another ride. Perhaps it can take you right into our story about Flop-Ear, or right back into your bed again. Great. Let's continue with the final chapter of Flop-Ear, the funny rabbit. "What are you doing in these woods?" asked Mappo of Floppier, as soon as the Merry Monkey had seated himself on a soft cushion of green moss at the foot of the tree. "I am hopping through them, trying to find my lost home," answered Floppier. "I live in woods like these, but not in this part. I am lost. What are you doing here?" "Well, I'm staying here for a while," answered Mappo. "Years ago, when I was a little fellow, I used to live in the woods, but not here. In my country, it was very warm. It was what is called a jungle." "Tum-Tum the Jolly Elephant lived in a jungle," said Floppier. "What? You know about Tum-Tum?" asked Mappo in surprise. "I have met him," the rabbit replied. "I was near the circus where he was, and he saved my life." Then Floppier told how the elephant lifted him up in his trunk and pulled him out from under the circus wagon wheel. "But you spoke of Tum-Tum as though you knew him," said Floppier to the Merry Monkey. "How did that happen?" "It was this way," explained Mappo. "I had not lived in the jungle very long before I was caught by some men who wanted monkeys to go around with hand organ players. I was put on a ship and brought to this country. There, Tum-Tum and I became good friends. He was also caught in the jungle and brought over on the ship. Then he went with the circus. I was there too for a while, but I ran away and met Squinty, the pig." "Why, I know him too!" cried Floppier. "You know many of my friends," the Merry Monkey said. "I am glad to hear that." "Well, after a while I was taken in by a nice family, and I have lived there ever since until yesterday, when I ran away again." "Why?" asked Floppier. "Oh, I wanted to have some adventures. I grew tired of staying in one place for so long. So I ran away to the woods, which are a little bit like those of the jungle where I used to climb from tree to tree. After a while, I will run back to the nice people I lived with. I like them very much." "I liked the boy I ran away from too," said Floppier. "But it is no fun to be kept in a cage." "That's right," chattered Mappo, winding his long tail around his neck. "Still, Tum-Tum the elephant and Dido the dancing bear do not seem to mind being in the circus." "I guess that's different," said Floppier. "Perhaps it is," agreed Mappo. Floppier told his adventures to the Merry Monkey. "My, you certainly had quite a time," said Mappo. "Now, what do you say to this? You and I will live together in these woods for a while. I like it here, and so do you. We will make ourselves a little house of green branches and stay in it until I run back home again." "But what about my home?" asked Floppier. "I ought to be looking for it. That's why I ran away from Jimmy." Mappo thought for a second or two. "I'll tell you what we can do," he said. "We'll stay here for a while and have a good time, and then I'll come with you and help you look for your home. After that, I'll go back to mine." "That would be fine," said Floppier. "You are very kind to me." "Oh, I like being kind," said Mappo. Floppier thought Mappo was a very funny and merry monkey. Mappo could do more things than could Floppier, for the monkey really had 4 hands, though, as he walked on his hind ones, I suppose they ought to be called feet. And Mappo's tail was almost as good as another hand to him, for the Merry Monkey could hold himself up in a tree by it, and could swing to and fro like the pendulum of a clock. "Well, if we are going to live together in the woods," said Mappo to Flop-Ear, "we had better start making our house." "I will cut down branches of trees with my sharp gnawing teeth," said Flop-Ear. "And I will make them into a house," said the monkey. "And since you like to live part of the time down underground, you may dig for yourself a hole in the middle of the house. We will call that the cellar." "That will be fine," cried Flop-Ear. So the two animal friends started to work together. By standing up on his hind legs, Flop-Ear could reach the low branches of some evergreen trees. These he gnawed off almost as nicely as if they had been cut with a knife. And as fast as the tree branches were cut off, Mappo, with his paws, which were like hands, stuck them in the ground, making a sort of green tent. Then, inside that tent, Flop-Ear dug for himself a hole underground. For rabbits like to stay beneath the top of the earth part of the time. When the house and the cellar hole were finished, Mappo said, "Now we are all right, except that we need something to eat." "That will be no trouble for me," said Flop-Ear. "I can eat the bark off the trees and sweet roots. And perhaps there may grow, not far from here, some cabbages or carrots." "I could eat carrots or cabbages," said Mappo, "but I would not care for bark from trees. Still, I may find some fruit, though in this country there are no banana or coconut trees, which grew in my own country." "Did you ever climb a coconut tree and pick the nuts?" he asked Flop-Ear. "I never did," replied the white bunny. "A rabbit would look funny, I think, climbing a tree." "Perhaps so," agreed Mappo. "Let's go to look for something to eat. It will be dark soon, and though I can see in the night pretty well, I don't suppose you can," said Flop-Ear. "Not very well," said Mappo. So after they finished making their little house, the monkey and the rabbit set off together. Flop-Ear found a field where turnips grew, and Mappo found an orchard where some pears and peaches were growing on trees. "This fruit will be just fine for me," Mappo said. "Maybe you would like some of these, Flop-Ear?" And he pointed to the trees which grew in an orchard, not far from the carrot field. "Yes, I think I should like them," the rabbit answered, "but I cannot climb a tree to get them." "Oh, I'm just great at climbing trees," said the monkey. "You just watch me." With that, Merry Mappo sprang over the fence, and before Flop-Ear could count up to 10, supposing that he knew how, the monkey had picked some peaches and pears and had scrambled back to the ground again. "Here, eat some," he said to Flop-Ear, and the rabbit did. "Are they good?" asked Mappo. "Oh, fine!" cried Flop-Ear. Then the bunny ate some carrots, and, as he had paws in which he could carry them, Mappo took home to the leafy house some fruit and some of the yellow carrots. "Then we won't have to come back for more right away," he said. "I guess the man who owns them won't mind if we take a few." It was very nice for Flop-Ear and Mappo living in this leafy house together. Even when it rained, they did not get very wet, for the rabbit could go down into the cellar, and Mappo made the roof thick with more branches, so the raindrops could not drip through on him. Still, every now and then, Flop-Ear would think of his own burrow, where he had been so happy with his father and mother, and with Pink Nose and Snuggle, before the man had chased them away. "When are we going to look for my house?" the rabbit would ask the monkey. "Oh, pretty soon now," Mappo would answer. "I don't want to go home quite yet. I like it here in the woods." "So do I," Floppier would say, "but still, I want to go to my own home." So one day the two started off to look for Floppier's home. Every time they came to a hole in the ground, Mappo would ask, "Is this it, Floppier?" But the rabbit would look, and then he would say, "No, I am sorry, but that is not it." "Then we must go on some more," said Mappo, and on they would go. One day, just as it was getting a little dark, toward evening, Floppier, who was hopping along through the woods with Mappo, heard a thumping noise. It was a noise such as rabbits make when they call to one another, and Floppier knew at once that some other rabbit was making signals. "I'll go and see who that is thumping," said Floppier. "Maybe it's a rabbit who knows where my home is." He ran along a little farther, and there, behind a bush, he saw an old lady rabbit. "Excuse me," Floppier said to her, "but are you thumping for anyone?" The old lady rabbit turned around, and who do you suppose she was? Yes, she was Lady Munch, Floppier's grandmother. "Oh, Grandma, Grandma," he cried, "I found you at last. Where is my home, and where are all the others?" "Oh, Floppier, Floppier," cried Lady Munch, "you have come home at last. Oh, we thought you were gone forever. Here, Mr. Bunny, Mrs. Bunny, Snuggle and Pink Nose, come here. Floppier is back." Out of a hole nearby in the ground came the other rabbits running. There they were, all of Floppier's family. They ran up to him, kissing and hugging him the way rabbits do. Oh, how glad they were to see him. "Where have you been, Floppier? Where have you been?" they asked him. "Oh, everywhere," he answered, "and I have had so many adventures. But how is it you are living in this new home? This is not where we used to live." "We came here after the man chased us," said the Papa Rabbit, "and we have been living here ever since. We looked everywhere for you, but we could not find you. And I was out in front of the new burrow just now, thumping with my feet, and hoping some rabbits might hear it, so I could ask them about you," said Lady Munch. "And lo and behold, along you come yourself, Floppier." "Yes," said Floppier, "and I'm mighty glad I did." "But who is your friend?" asked Mama Bunny, looking at Mappo. "Oh, he is a merry monkey who was very kind to me," said Floppier. "He and I have been living in the woods, and we have had good times together. His name is Mappo, and he knows Tum Tum the jolly elephant in the circus." "What's a circus?" asked Pink Nose. "And what's an elephant?" Snuggle demanded. "I will tell you all about it," said Floppier. And he did. Floppier told his brother and sister, Papa and Mama, and Lady Munch all about the adventures that had happened to him since he ran away. "But oh, how glad I am to be home again," said Floppier. "I hope no more men will come along." "We hope so too," said his father. Floppier was taken down into the new burrow and given something to eat. He liked the new home very much. Mappo the monkey was too large to go down into the underground house, but he found a place in a tree where he could stay all night, and the rabbits gave him some supper. The next morning, Mappo said goodbye to Floppier and to the other bunnies. "I'm going back to the house where I live," said Mappo. I have had enough of running away." "And so have I," cried Floppier. "After this, I am going to stay at home." And he did. And though he had more adventures, they were little ones, in the woods around the new burrow. And Pink Nose and Snuggle were never tired of hearing Floppier tell of all the wonderful things that had happened to him, just as I have told you. And now, since Floppier is safe at home again, we will say goodbye to him. And that is the end of our story about Floppier the rabbit. Good night. Sleep tight.